order at 6:02, and I think for everybody who's here, let's go with a moment of silence to begin with. And a review and adoption of the minutes. Everybody familiar with and okay with?
Yes.
All right, so I'd like to have a motion and a second.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
So that's Eli, and I will second. And so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, signify. Yeah.
Aye.
All those the same, opposed, same sign. And so it passes. Okay, communications from the floor. I'd like to have everyone aware that Tim Yoakum, who was very involved with the Clinton Floating Dock Project and who also helps organize an annual kayak and canoe race and fundraiser, is presenting to us about that project so we can be better informed about a floating dock project here in Attica. He may bring a contractor who sold and installed the dock at Clinton. We have invited various members of the community, since this could end up being a very useful thing for our respective organizations for festivities and tourism angles. So we do have a pretty lengthy business meeting today, but I figure we can certainly work in a half hour into the communications from the floor. Okay, so let's kind of keep that in mind. Tim, would you like to step up? Tell us about what you'd like to have us know.
Send these around so you all see. I'm gonna stand right here if that's okay.
Sure.
Introduce myself. I'm Tim Yoakum. I serve in Indiana House District 42. Matt Commons is your House rep. I have been involved very much over the last 6 years in trying to promote the Wabash River. It is a huge asset that's been overlooked for years. So 6 years ago or 7 years ago, I started Wabash River Run. We started a boat race, a canoe and kayak race from Montezuma, Indiana, about 13 miles. The first time I did it, had 2 people. And it's been a real good process of going through, working with the community. In the last 2 times we've had over 100 boats in that race. We are now there's no motors. It's all straight stuff. No motors. We have everything. We now have a unique group. We are the United States Canoe and Kayak Association has our race now as one of their sanctioning events for points. And so now we got them showing up with these boats, and some of these kayaks are $10,000. They're like long eagles. They're really, and they're very, very fast. Very, very fast. And so we got that going. Each year we've done this. Like I said, this last time we had over 100 boats, and I figure we'll probably have 125 probably this year. For many years we took on it was always a fundraising project. We always did it with Park Humane Shelter, and every year we usually raise $12,000 to $15,000 from that race. Last year, what we did, we was no longer doing work with Park Humane Shelter. We was going a different direction, and we took upon ourselves to try to fund a new boat dock for the city of Clinton. You went down there, they had an old board with like 6 plastic barrels underneath of it, and that's the way it was for years. And so we started and I had Montezuma call me. They was going to put in a new boat dock in Montezuma, and they said that they need to raise $50,000, and they had a grant that would match it from 25 to 50%. This grant right here will match you with 50%. I talked to Bridget today from there, and they're ready for you to see something. So the big thing is a 50% grant. We took that on last year. We raised $33,000 locally, and the project was $66,000. And we got the whole thing funded. I'm saying I can be a help here to help you do that. There is money out there. Check with your community foundation. One place to go. The big thing about this grant here is what you want to do is they want to see you involved with $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $50, $100 to get the future contributed. That's the first thing you want to do. They want to see local buy into this process. And then the rest will fall in place. But this last time we did this, you can check it out on Facebook. There's a lot of pictures and stuff about the ribbon cutting we had, and we just put that dock in here a week ago, 2 weeks ago. We had a ribbon cutting. The Wabash River Run, we are a 501c for fundraising, and so we can also come here. I would like to see, trying to get more places on the Wabash River for point-to-point for canoes and kayak races. And, if you guys can figure out some place, it was just be a start or an indie, we will come and help you out to do that. We'll get new. We're trying to get new equipment this year. Get ready to send a quote in to get new equipment that they will actually wear a badge or like something on their pants or something, and we automatically key them in when they come through. We have the system that will automatically check them on the times and generate all the reports, and we can at the end we can go through and have all the different divisions. Usually at the end of the race, we did it manually, so we're clocking, writing stuff down, and everybody's in there, 100 people, and they're trying to get all this stuff out. So it's chaos. So if we can get a process, a counter system goes in, it'll make it a whole lot simpler. And I am willing to come up here and help you guys maybe do one of them cruise and kayak races. And I think it's an excellent thing to do on the river. But back to this thing here, this grant here, most grants, if you work with them, usually take you forever. This is quick. I mean, 30, 45 days, you probably got your money. It's that quick. And whoever is the administrator here, if you call and talk to Bridget, she'll help you out. I mean, these people are great to work with, and it's good when you have someone that knows what they're doing that will help you through the whole grant process, and these people do that. It's funded by the state of Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. So all you got to do is come 50%. I don't know how much difference is there a big elevation difference between the river and where your bank, or how is that down there? Is it a big drop off? Is it?
It is.
Okay. What we did, my supervisors in and had too much steepness on the ramp, and so what we did is when we set up our ramp is we went down to where the point is, where the landing is, and then we went out and took a string out in the river on a boat, you know what I mean, and checked our elevation, because the longer you make that ramp, your incline will be a lot not so steep. So that's some things to check. But we had a company out of Brazil put ours in. We can give you that name. They can come look at it. You can get anybody you want, but they did a good job in Montezuma and also in Point. So I'm here to answer any questions. I think the river, there is, if you look around and see in the paper, there's some money available, and they're starting to use some emphasis to create different things on the river and use it for actually a entertainment, which hasn't been done for years. I think we all know that. It's been an asset that's set there that nothing utilized. So therefore now, I think that the time to do something like this, there's time to do it. And I think it's a good community project. Again, if I want to go back and say one thing, try to get buy-in of local people. Try to get them to contribute. And that $5 or that $10 or that $20, that's all important. And if you can get that 50%, then you'll have the rest of it. And I'm not going to make no commitment for where the money comes from. Whether I can talk to you about it, but I wouldn't say they'll give you money. You just have to check.
So did you use some kind of crowdfunding approach, an online crowdfunding approach, or how did you get buy-in from the community?
Well, we did put it online where they contribute online. You can set up a place online people contribute to. That's one way to do it. Your local businesses, a lot of them will come up with money on it. Just tell them what you're doing and tell them what the process is, and I think there's a good buy-in. Do you have a lot of activity at the river? I haven't been down there. So.
It's busy.
Busy?
We just had a fishing tournament.
Good.
Last month. And we're planning on doing some after recreation. But you go down every day, there's always people down there fishing, boating,
What do you have down there now?
We have campsites, and then we have a launch,
Okay.
and we have restrooms, and we have a playground.
Is that a state access site?
Yeah.
in our access.
Okay. The other thing you might want to think about too is you can always name those state access sites. Some of them are not named. Is it got a name on it yet?
Like a boat
I
ramp.
mean,
We
we call it park.
If you want to name it, well, we did the boat club, the gentleman who always down at the boat club, he passed away. And so now I'm going to the state to change that to the Ed McGee access site, so if you want, that's something else you might want to do, it would be nice if you got some money. But it's a great program. Like I said, the Wabash River Run is we are here to promote activities on the Wabash River, and we're not for profit. If you could find some project, and you could make it the project tie in with a boat race tie in with the fundraiser to get the grant too, do something like that. But I don't know how far up you go up the river. Where's the next place that people get on the river? 5 mile, 10, 15?
Williamsport. Williamsport has it's not
Downriver.
a developed launch, but it's a beach, and then it's on down to Covington.
How far up the river?
That's where the next one.
Right,
They're in the process of putting that one in.
How far is that?
It's
All right.
before the Kramer, so,
Is that,
what, 5 miles?
is that Black Rock?
That's not that long. Yeah.
That's gonna be fine, yeah. Black Rock's probably the next place.
That amount on the river itself, public, I think Lafayette,
How far is
But
on?
Black Rock might have a launch. I know they have a launch there anyway.
They talked about an area at Independence,
Well,
where
that'd
they
be
had right of way through because of the power line running through there. And they were talking about developing that as an entry point for kayaks.
Is it already private? It's publicly owned?
It's privately owned, but they had gained access rights to it, and they were gonna develop an entryway to the river because of the kayak rentals.
How far would that be from the river?
Less than 5 miles, probably 4.5.
You need about 10 miles, 12 miles, something like that.
Yeah.
You could do shorter, but
Black Rock.
ours is 13 miles. You could do shorter if you want to.
Is it okay?
What does maintenance look like?
What we did different on our ramp is we did a little bit different on our ramp. We figured out that it's no use to leave it in the wintertime. So we're taking it out, put a wheel underneath, 2 wheels underneath, we pull it out. We'll take it out probably first October, when it starts getting, you take it out before the fall rains, heavy rains, and you put it back in, say May the 1st. So it's not being beat up down there. Those things act on they'll go up 20 feet. Ours right now, when you go down to our dock, it's down in the lower part, and when water comes up, we can't get in there anyway. Sometimes it's stepping up like this. It used to get on, it's down here, but it docks up, and so then it goes back down. So, but the big thing is, I don't know how much fluctuation you have there. Is the area you think it'll be underwater a lot in the wintertime, or in the rain, or does it ever get that high?
we do have, we don't want to, we have to look at it.
Did you have to worry about ADA compliance at all?
No, you just say it's not ADA compliant. You don't go that route. You put up a saying, you enter at your own risk, and you can't guarantee ADA. You can, if you want to try to get it that way, get with someone who's your normal, your low level, your high level, and then create that right angle. I'm putting in our church right now, I'm trying to put an ADA accessible to the basement. I got max of 1 inch per foot, and every 35 feet, I got a 5 flat landing or something like that. So you can get close to that probably by changing your angle and lengthening your run, to make that better. But I wouldn't go around saying it's ADA accessible. I mean, when you go down there, and if somebody goes down there and they fall off, I mean, you got to understand that we just got guardrails on the side, but you get on dock and fall off. I mean, you can't guarantee everything. Someone falling in the water. You go to the state side, you fall off a dock, any place is state place. And there's certain you check with your attorney, get your advice on your attorney for signage and stuff like that. But it's, it's plenty wide enough, but your angle is one.
So did Clinton have to do anything with insurance because of the dock, or were they able to
Not
just
that I
cover
know
it
of.
with their
I mean,
regular
we
insurance?
put it in, they know it's there. It's kind of their equipment now.
And you say ADA is not legally required for that? Did you say that?
I mean, do you say that you can't say it, you don't say it's ADA accessible, you just can't say that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, government
But
projects.
if you want someone to go down a wheelchair, down a ramp by themselves, I mean, and go out on the dock by themselves, I think you really need someone with somebody that's down like that. That's what I would. But you can't resolve everything as far as.
When you pull it out, how do you store it?
We don't know right yet where we're gonna put it at. We don't know if we're gonna put it inside. It's 40, the dock though, I think is 42 feet long, to go down and stand on. It's long.
There's a big area down there compared to Flint.
If you go on my Facebook page, you can see all the videos and the pictures and everything of it.
Tim, in terms of the finances, just so I can make sure I understand, so in the project was $66,000.
Correct.
What do you get for $66,000?
The whole ramp system, I mean, and the
Install.
And was that
the total cost?
Total cost.
Left over,
no, total cost.
and that included installing it?
Yes, they installed it all.
Somebody come down, put a bid in and that'll be roughly.
Yeah, you guys do what you want to. Yeah, I'm just, you're saying we've used someone, and this is, I can say their name and tell you who they are, and then you can shop around and see what's so different.
Storage is kind of an issue. Pulling it out, putting it in is just extra work, and maintenance is work. So we're trying to think how to.
You don't have to take it out. I don't know how the river is up here, but down there we get a lot of stuff in the river.
We get a lot of,
I don't know how much you get.
if an ice flow comes through, our maintenance man told us he wouldn't want that dock in the water.
It depends on where it is in the river. Different places in the river catches more stuff than other places. It's where the flow is going out. Like ours is set up when the river comes down, there's an incline where they come in and go out, and so the water automatically forces it out. And the boat dock is in here, it's an eddy, and the water is actually practically going the other way.
Do you know if Monticello has decided how to store theirs?
I'm not, don't know about what they're doing.
Okay, so that's still a question mark.
You're talking about
Montezuma, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Montezuma left theirs in all winter.
They did.
I don't think they're gonna be taking it out at all. But we just thought, if we can take it out, put it back in ourselves, then I think it's no use to leave it down there, because when the river gets up so high, you can't get down there anyway. Montezuma, you always get down it, but our point where you get on it to walk down, sometimes it's up to walk. So,
Tim, let me push you back to the finances, the that was raised from what was the rate? Say $5 to $10 type of percentage, was that?
there was no requirement on that.
Well, I mean, I'm just kind of getting.
It wasn't that big. It wasn't that big.
Well, it had to be 33,000, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was like 3,000, 5,000.
It's a couple thousand. We had some. I worked for Duke Energy, and I got 5,000 for Duke Energy. I mean, I just retired 3 weeks ago. So, but we got, from corporate, you get money from. Go to the community foundation. Is where you need to go. That's where you need to go. That's all I'm saying. Go to the community foundation. Talk to them. Great people. And I asked them today if you guys were in their area, and they said yes. So.
So you think we need a line for Duke also, since here?
Are you Duke up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So you just have to say that.
Hey, I didn't know you. Now let me know, and I'll
So you
talk
just
to
got
corporate.
that 5,000
So, it's out of my district, where I'm usually at, but that's, I will go, so I do like that.
And what is the life cycle of this lot? So what is the expected life, say?
We'd have to talk to them about it. One thing we did do was when we had our ribbon cutting, we came up with more money to put lights on. So now we're solar lighted, for people. Solar lighted for, you need lights down there. You don't want electricity down there, water's out. So
This life was better too if you left it in, you didn't take it out, correct?
Do what?
Life of it would be when you left it in during the winter, you took it out.
It probably extend the life. Yeah, now.
All together or something like that.
This is on wheels then?
You put a wheel underneath of it, you stick a rod through there, and put it, because it's just mainly a plastic frame. We might not take it out. I know that's all the decided.
Do you know what the DNR permitting process
There's
was
no
like?
problem.
No problem.
DNR, no problem. We went through that. That was one of our big things. DNR.
Did you have to advise them, or it wasn't even?
After that.
Did you have to advise them? Like, keep
Yeah, I
them
think we
aware?
advise. I can get that information from. I'm just saying it's like yes, do it. It's not like a lot of times the DNR permitting process. It takes time.
Just the only thing, I don't know if our site is, I don't know what a good site and what a bad site looks like for something like this. So I don't know.
The big thing about the site is how much is it from up here to down there? That's the question. You know, I mean, from where you're going, your landing to down there in your angle. That's your question.
Would the DNR say anything if it was, like down in an area?
Which one?
The bank
Cleaned up.
taken out.
I don't think.
There's an old boat ramp that is nice and flush, and then there's a bank. Got the ramp on the other side.
But does the DNR, is that actually a DNR site and they own that site? Or is
It
it,
is a DNR.
or have they leased it back to the city?
That I don't know.
It's DNR access.
I got
He said.
That was supposed to be someone who's supposed to be back.
One thing I know is when the two that been put in down there, it was like DNR says yes, and we'll do it. You know, just-
The Community Foundation provided me with contact for DNR, so we could be in touch with them.
Yeah, just call the community foundation and tell them what you're doing. And
We have, and they've been supportive.
they're very supportive. But through this grant program, but they still want to see community involvement, you know, as much community involvement as you can, promoting it locally, and those people doing small contributions, doing something to your grant process. Like I said, the big thing about the grant is the turnaround time. Just when you talk to Bridget, I think Randy Bridget, talk to some people, just ask her how quick the turnaround. It's amazing. It's quick.
So do you know where their money comes from?
What?
Do you know where their money comes from?
Yeah, it comes from the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
Okay. And then you mentioned there's a fee to use their services?
I think it might be like a 1%. It's a 1 or 1.5%.
Of what they give or the total project?
Might be a total project. It's a couple. It's not very much for the value you get with someone taking care of the grant. They take care of all that stuff for you.
So they write the grant and all that, or we?
Well, they help you. I mean, they'll help you. You're not on your own when you get. These people want to help you. They're great people to work with, and they'll be there with you and help you through every bit of that process. So it's just. I've never been around something that worked so good. You know, usually you get into something, there's a whole bunch of things go wrong. You get a fight with this, police for that. Someone's got to pay for it. It's the best I've seen and the fastest I've ever seen.
It wasn't a time when actually you dock and such, so you got the money raised, they give you the money, and to go and prepare the, what's the.
Couple months. You probably get 3 months. I'm just saying from mine. It's probably more getting with someone to find out. You're getting a quote would be your first thing to do. Get the design right. Like I said, make sure you get someone there to goes out in the water and checks your slope. Your slope's critical for that to be accessible. You know what I mean? The closer you can get to that 1 inch per foot ADA numbers, the better off you are. So first thing I do is find some contractors or that do it, get quotes from them, meet with them, and then start the process.
Just curious, how did you decide what time of the year to check the river level? Because, you know, if it's dry.
Well,
Levels-
I work at Duke Energy and I run the water corner of the water plant. I watched the water level every day because I knew how much water is seasonal and we knew where those numbers are at. And you got, if anybody runs a river, you can go down and find a river called river rats. You know, I mean that disrespectful. People on the river all the time. Well, find somebody on the river. I don't mean that. I don't mean that mean bad way. But you know the guys that run the river. You guys know around. You know the guys that run that river. They can tell you everything about that river. You can go back and look at through the state levels for the. You can look up the reports on the state site that will tell you all your historical levels here. I mean, that information's available. You can see where it's X all the time. And the reason why we have the boat race in a week for Labor Day because the river is so low down there. If you fall out, you can't. Most of the places you can't take a motorboat up through there half the time. You can't get stuck. And so that's the reason why we have it during Labor Day weekend because the river's so low.
So, I mean, if you're setting up the project schedule, funding schedule, would you want to try to have everything completed by years so that
Yeah, I
then
think.
the money's in place, you make your order, and then it's coming in sometime in March. You need to make
Yeah, that's about the way we had ours planned. We did it later in the year and then got it in. We was gonna put ours in earlier, but the river was up, and we thought we'd just wait till it was down. Again, so you're about in the same time as what we did last year. So you got plenty of time to work on it, get it set up, and by next spring, have it delivered. And they don't bother if they're not hard on you with the grant if you got it all set up and you haven't got it in yet. You got time to work with it, dude. As from a state agency, from a state representative, and see something that the state puts together, this is top of the line. I highly recommend these people. They're good. They work with you, they're friendly. They get excited with you. You know, but it's a great thing, and I think you guys. I'm here to help you. I know I'm from the government, but I'm here to help you. And this will be the third one. If I can help you with it, it'll be the third one I've been involved with.
So typically, or $5,000 to get started.
Paperwork about that thick to fill out?
No, I was at the president of Duke Energy this talk with him, and he was going to help us out. We're building a new power plant there in our county. Some of you might have heard about it. It's $3.23 billion money. So they're just trying to get money, to the local organization. But if Duke Energy takes care of this area, I will see what I can guarantee something. I will try that.
Does it benefit us to have
What?
Does it benefit us to get back collaborating with you on this?
Yeah, if you want to. I called him up today, and he's on vacation. I said, Matt, I'm coming into your town. I don't want to get you mad. But, Matt sits like three rows in front of me. Excellent legislator, good friend of mine. Does a good job. If you see at the bottom of that, I think you see the initials of, let's see on the bottom here, Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. That's where it's been. I think it's still under Indiana Economic Board. Like I said, what I do is I just get hold of some people to build these things, have them go down and look at it, get your angle right, get a price, talk to the state, I get natural resources or people for your, make sure you're okay with that. Do it. Big thing is if it don't cost you no money. That's a big thing. I don't know how your park department, you guys at the park department, do you think it's a welcoming thing you want to do? I mean, is it?
It's what we're actively considering. We have a list of projects, and so most of the time, things that are new, we have to fund through the grant, so we can maintain what we have from our budget. So, yeah, what we're talking about now would be how of the different things we're thinking for the area, what's the priority, and where can we get the money from? I sure appreciate you sharing your experience, and it's encouraging to hear what you have to say. One other question I have, for some of our folks here that run festivals or would like to, do you have any kind of festival associated with the River Run? Are there things that you do along with the River Run?
Well, we was originally planning on to do it for Labor Day weekend, and Little Italy Festival was going on. It was my plan to do it for the festival, and they said it would create too much traffic for them on down there. So I said, well, we better do it on different weekends. My intention was, I always thought traffic created people, and people created money. People spend
Yeah.
money, and so that was my intention.
That's the concept.
But so they said it created too much traffic.
Which they?
Little Italy Festival people.
So,
I'm just
Would-
saying what was told to me.
Well, you're a festival people, so it's something that Heritage would think would work when Heritage is going on. Absolutely, yep.
I mean, we're always adding different.
Because we have the Heritage Festival down there at the river.
The other thing is, we got the hovercraft coming up, I think, the early part of August. That might be something else you might want to think about, just have trying to have people come to the hovercrafts, whenever you do it. You don't talk about hovercrafts.
it's a race. I know what a hovercraft is, but I didn't know we had anybody on the river.
Yeah, in fact, one of the manufacturers is from Terre Haute. He brought this prototype when made on the river, and they're coming up from Terre Haute to Clinton here in the middle of August in the race coming up. So that's something else you kind of look for. There's a lot of stuff starting to develop on it. You know what I mean? And we start to have different activities on there. I had a guy at paddleboard last night. Went all the way from Montana to paddleboard. We do this. Yeah.
So we have another 501c here, and that's the Rec Inc. Who would they be able to coordinate with the Wabash River Run? So they'd be the facilitating agency for the Wabash River Run. Would that be a problem, or would that work? You guys?
It don't matter to me. I'm just trying to promote this stuff. I kind of got
Yeah.
patient for it.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was some kind of proprietary.
Well, I mean, I am the owner of that's my copyrighted business. Like acquainted. That's a better word. That's we came up with that. That's what we named it, and then we made a separate 501c called Cross Current Productions. Cross Current Waters. That's our actual 501c. The thing we're doing, we're spending money in developing that into where we have all the equipment to put the race on. You get timer thing put on your waist, you take off, we come through, and it catches you going through the develops.
So cutting to kind of how this might work, suppose we get a dock in there, suppose we have a festival that wants to do something, suppose we've got Rec Inc. that wants to coordinate with you for the race. All that sounds feasible to you?
Yeah, that's me. The race side's totally me, and my daughter and two of the people involved in it.
Okay.
Good question. If as the ranking sponsored the race and did that with your help, would we rent the equipment from you or how would that?
I'm in a total. I'd come do it for nothing. I mean, I'm not in it. I'm not in this thing.
I think Clinton has a boat club.
Yeah, they got a boat
Right.
club.
In Attica, used to have a boat club all set up, and we were organized. And the only problem I would make is put a boat ramp down there, a dock, I'm sorry. It'd be good to generate money for everything down there. to
Right.
improve everything
Right.
down there, rather than start to veer out in different conflict. You know what I'm saying? That way, the focus is completely on that.
You can do it. You can do it all yourself. I mean, all you do is get a stopwatch and start everybody clicking. And, you can do it yourself. There's no big thing about it. You do it yourself totally.
Well, I know I appreciate your presentation, and I know that the board is actively considering how we would use existing groups and our own resources to make the most of all the different park facilities. So I appreciate very much.
The one thing in closing, if you ever want to do that, is insurance is an issue. In the past, in fact, the first 3 or 4 times we did it, I paid the insurance myself. It cost me $500 or $600. Right now, it's cost us about $750. for that. You got to sign a waiver, release waiver. You know,
So is that per year, or like per event?
per event. So if you have the big thing is you can raise a lot of money. You know.
How often can you apply for this grant? Like yearly?
I talked to her today, and she said once you get one paid off, you can apply for another.
Okay, there are a lot of projects on
Yeah,
here
there
that
is.
are listed that
It's-
honestly would be great for our area. So if this was something that we were interested in and we got funding through this grant this year, that's something that we could do again potentially.
She told me today, if you got the first one paid off, you're available for another one if you want.
What do you mean paid off?
It's 50/50.
Closed out,
Oh,
paid
the-
off, paperwork's done, you're ready to do the next one. You don't find very many programs like that.
That's pretty amazing.
That's the topic. I'm getting ready to go. I gotta go to Montezuma Park Week.
Okay, then. Thanks so very much.
You all got my name and number if you need me up to.
Thank you. Did you see the acquisition of 5G employees and stuff? That was something that you were really interested in. Oh, sorry.
I'm here to help you.
Any other comments from the floor? Okay, I appreciate the interest in the people who are present. All right, so here are our updates. This is to catch the community up with what we're doing and also to have everyone here to be aware. First of all, we want to acknowledge the first day of service to the board of the new appointed member, Kelly Froch. Thanks, Kelly. Good to have you here.
Thank
Kelly
you.
is going to be recruitment chairperson, and then she'll be second in line with fundraising, Eli being fundraising. Each of the board members have one chair committee responsibility. That way we can sort of be focused month to month on what we're trying to accomplish. And so we have had a vacancy for recruitment, which really hurts when you're trying to get volunteers out there to do all the painting and things that we're doing right now. Okay. The installation, the removal and installation of play sets from the old elementary has begun, and it should all be finished within the next couple of weeks. What we'll need at that point, particularly in the Circle Park, is volunteers to help paint portions of it that are worn from wear and tear. Equipment is being painted in Ravine Park as we now speak. We're looking for volunteers there and have posted signs at the pavilions saying so. Board members, I'd like you to consider how you might participate. You've already done so, and I ask you to continue. Perhaps recruiting groups to assist. And I thank you very much for all your efforts to date. There's not a board member here who hasn't been out painting and helping. The storage shed is to be in place this month. I sent a query to the manufacturer to confirm the delivery date, and I will coordinate with Levi for shelving and ramp installation. This will be a shared pickleball and park program shed so that we can have storage for our summer park program and a little bit for other things that the park board might need, but primarily for summer park program. And then the other half would be for the pickleball courts. We are beginning the process of making improvements at Wabachi Playground that's been funded by the Community Foundation grant. So in addition to the $150,000 that the city put in to actually put the playground on the ground, then we're putting additional ADA compliance and comfort. And that came in from the Community Foundation at $48,890. So we hope to have that all completed before November. I've met with Andy Smart and I've arranged that concrete can be poured at Wabachi Playground in late July, early August. Landscaping should be done in September and October. And Caleb Carnahan will be putting in the pavilion probably in August. I've reached out to receive bids for the Ravine bathrooms. We're still trying to find people who might be interested in updating those bathrooms. The mayor has also arranged that the bathrooms, which we'd had to lock because of vandalism, he now has an employee He's opening those in the morning and closing them in the evening, so now we have full access to our bathrooms, both at Wabachi and at Liberty.
So, sorry, not to interrupt you, is that something that you would like for me to let Ryan know that she no longer needs to lock those up? Because right now she is storing the fans.
That was the thing.
She knows
I guess,
that. I talked to her.
the pamphlet boxes on the Welcome Ravine Park sign have been repaired and are waterproof, so Attica Park and Trail pamphlets can be placed there. It might also be advantageous for Rack Inc. to put pamphlets in one of the other two boxes. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Ravine Park bridge installation was completed for the 4th of July. It appears well made and it is compliant with ADA. Thanks go to Ellen for ongoing shepherding of the project. Eric and I have been discussing access. Yep.
Sorry about that bridge.
Yeah.
I was down at our program today serving lunch, and someone needs to go down and sand the tops of the bridge, like railing. A lot of kids are getting splinters. It's really like if the kids run their hands across it, they're getting splinters. So that probably needs to be done sooner rather than later, since our program is happening right now. But that was something that was brought to me just today.
And Bubba told me that if there was something he needed to
Yeah.
fine tune, he would. So
Okay.
Ellen, I'll let Ellen know that, and since she's the point person. Okay. So, gotcha. So Eric and I have been discussing, Eric, our maintenance manager for the city, have been discussing access to Arms Woods for equipment to manage the park and the trails. This could include equipment to bring in and spread gravel on the trails, tractor to drill holes for posts for benches, ATVs to pull out trees that are already down and contribute to fire risk, and a truck with bucket to drop and remove trees as needed. 6-foot wide mowers for the trails. And all of this can't be done with the current bridges or even the bridges as we were anticipating. So what we were talking about instead, we're installing culverts. Now culverts are forms that are put into the river or creek so that it might be made out of cement or metals that you then put dirt over the top. So it's like a bridge, but it's going to let the water flow through, and it's also going to sustain a whole lot more weight. So right now, this is really holding us up with trying to do maintenance, any kind of forestry maintenance in Arms Woods. So I strongly recommend we consider using culverts rather than bridges. And we're going to have to see what that turns out price-wise. I have no idea how expensive that will or won't be, but it's really, I think, the better way to go than to put in bridges. It would still be handicap accessible, and people can go over it. It's not. It acts as a bridge, but it's much stronger.
Would last longer
And
too.
it's going to last longer, yeah. Okay, so I'll be asking for permission in a moment if you're agreeing with that for Eric and I to look into that deeper. Eric, Joanne, and I met to discuss how the budget looks for this year and next year. And one helpful change for next year is that Joanne will rename various line items so we on the board can clearly see what is ours to spend. So that'll be coming up with next year's budget. And Eric is in agreement with these and the shift in funds that will go with it. Okay. I'm continuing to review the numbers with Joanne, and give me a little longer yet to provide an updated version of what's available to use. But it does look that we have balances that will allow us to do some of the small items that we're anticipating doing. Not big stuff, but small items. Okay, there are a number of park improvement projects to consider and prioritize and fund, and those are all on that list that you guys have been talking to me about. And so you'll find that on your list entitled Parks and Recreation Board Project List. And for those of you in the audience who'd be interested in it, you'll see that up on the table. Okay. People reaching out to the board. Mary Laurie Grant would like our support for a change in camping arrangements at the riverfront. Currently, a stay there is limited to 3 days, and he'd like to see that extended to 7. And he plans to incorporate a new system to register and pay that uses smartphones, but people can still go to the city building to do this if they don't have smartphones. So that'll be for the board to kind of consider and support or not support. And that'll come up this meeting in new business. Mr. Johnny Smith reached out to us via Eli to arrange a meeting to share priorities for parks and CC it. And I asked Eli to let him know that we're interested to hear that, but that we would come to the entire council to hear what they say, or he would need to come as part of a subcommittee authorized by the council. And of course, any citizen can come and speak to the board individually. Mr. Scott Gregory has contacted me several times to express support for floating boat dock. And he was the one who put us in contact with Tim Yoker. Mr. John Hunt informed me that despite the auditorium grant getting to the final stage of 12 applicants statewide, it was not funded. He said he's still determined to continue pursuing funding and will build on the considerable amount of information that he put together already for that grant. Okay, so time for reports from committee. If you have something you'd like to share, I'd like to start with Twilight Series and Summer Park.
The Twilight Series, our next band coming up is a country band, August 22nd, Wild Heart Country, and the APA is also going to be the vendor for that one. And our last one was Triple Threat, and it went very well, I thought. We decorated patriotic, and it went over very well.
Do you have an idea of attendance?
I mean, I don't know, maybe 80 people.
I was gonna say 100, but
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's hard to count when they're out in the, all out in the grass and on their golf carts and stuff. So it's kind of hard just to guess. I would say 75, 80. I don't know.
There also went to like
Yeah.
Nancy, what are your groups telling you in terms of acoustics and so on? What do they think about the building?
None of them have complained at all. None of them. I've asked them. I literally went up and asked the bands what they felt about the acoustics in the area and everything. They love it and they're okay with it. They're fine with it. The Sojourn Rock band that we had seemed like they were very, very loud, but the last band we had was not really, really loud. It was, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, thanks so much for all the work that you put into this.
You're welcome.
Great work. Summer Park.
I know I wasn't able to be at the last meeting, so I'm not sure how many updates Ellen was able to give. But Parker's been really rocking it this year. I've been really, really happy and really, really proud and excited about how awesome it's been going. The breakfast and lunch have been going off just well. I did get thank you cards out to the first 4 churches that provided lunches for the first 4 weeks. I just signed from the Attica Park Board, and then I had the counselors and the director sign. And then after these next few churches, and the PTO is actually doing lunches this week. So I got back from vacation last night, and then this morning I made 420 chicken nuggets. So it's going well. Everybody is leaving happy and fed, and that was our main goal. Our attendance has been great as well, and I think that is largely part to do with the being like I feel like our attendance has been up this year. Other than that,
Do you have some idea of what we're talking about attendance?
yeah, because I do the attendance each morning. It's about 70 to 80 each day, which is really great numbers for us. We had about 150 kids register online, but not everybody comes every day. So we're not going to have the same 70 or 80 kids tomorrow that we had today. And this is about the time of year that in the summer that kids are going on trips and vacations and those types of things. So usually this is when our numbers go down a little bit. We have one more church that's doing lunches next week. And then the final week of park program, it is a different organizations who didn't want to do a full week of lunches, but they were willing to do a day of lunches. So that last week of the program, it's going to be a different organization each day. But yeah, it went off real well this summer. Every morning I send out the attendance number and it's just worked out. And I've been shocked at the amount of lunches that have been hot lunches and not just sack lunches. One of them that the Christian church here in town did was a spaghettio dinner or a spaghettio lunch that was a homemade spaghettio. The kids were going up for seconds and thirds. And so it's a repeat one that the PTO is actually going to do this week. The other thing, and then I'll be done with the summer park program. The churches have been making extra, and so we have been taking that and freezing it throughout the week and making sure that it stays good. And we are now doing a snack pack program on the weekends for families who need extra help with food. They are able to take home those extra lunches that weren't ate during the week. So we are, I think,
That's a good idea.
we have fed up to 8 families now over the weekends. So that's been great too.
Excellent thinking. And you guys are still going to the movie and still going swimming at the school?
Yep. So I was able to find lifeguards through the Harrison Hills swimming pool. I contacted their manager. There are 2 gals who have been lifeguarding for us. We are not going to be swimming the last week of park program because they are going to be doing the counselor torture day that last Friday. So we actually took that swim day off, but the kids will have had 7 total days of swimming at the school. And I've been in contact with Mr. Fry, and so he's let us actually eat our lunches at the school on those days. So we go into the cafeteria. It's been nice because most of the churches or the organizations who are doing food, they'll bring in pizza. Like last week, the kids had Pizza King for lunch on Friday at the school, and it was great. The kids loved it.
I think didn't Casey's do some crisis work?
Yes, and they actually donated half of the pizzas that church bought that week, which I thought was great. I just think that's wonderful. The PTO is doing lunch or pizza again on this Friday. I'm not sure. I think we're gonna go through Casey's, but so yeah, it's been really well.
Thanks so much. In Parks and Trails, one of the areas is tennis courts. Nancy, what do you know about that?
I did contact 2 different places. Ideal Coatings out of Middlebury, Indiana. They're way up north by Shipshewana. Joel Troyer, I talked to him, and he said they put an acrylic coating on courts, which is what you're supposed to put on courts. And what he has in the past is a 2023 quote, and that was the one that was $45,000 to $50,000. And so he's going to come down and look at the courts again. He does not have a chance this month to do it, so I probably won't get till the 1st of August. So that's that's Ideal Coatings. I also talked to Leslie Coatings, Matt Strom. He sent me an email and he said he'd be glad to give us a quote, but he can't get to it right away either. So we do have 2 companies that are going to give us quotes to see what they can do.
Thanks.
The Ideal Coatings, when they gave their quote, the court has deteriorated quite a bit more since 2023. So he said it would probably be quite a bit more because they would have to do more patching.
One of the things that Eric said he thought would be real important so that we don't have peeling again is that the entire tennis court be ground down.
That's what they're going to do. He said in order to do it right, they would have to sandblast the whole court because the oil-based paint will make the acrylic come out. Acrylic will not adhere to oil base, and that's the kind they use as acrylic paints. So that's their plan.
So they'll take it all the way down to
yes,
cement.
they'll take it all the way down to cement
Sounds good.
and patch the holes and all 9 yards.
Okay. Thank you very much for looking into that. Okay, under grants and collaborations, anything you like?
Yeah, I've been working on the floating dock. I haven't asked for quotes yet. I've talked to 2 companies just to figure out what their designs look like, just what this whole process will look like. But once you guys authorize me to do so, I can get some quotes, and then we can hopefully move forward with the grant.
Okay. Nice. Communications. Anything that you want to add in terms of anything you're doing on webs or going to?
The main thing that we've been putting out there is the Twilight stuff, which I need to get going on the next one so that we can get that posted. Sorry, not to backtrack, but I was asked today at the park about the mulch update around
Sure.
the playground. I had a couple of counselors ask me about that. Do you know much?
I do. Yeah, the mulch will go down when the painting's done,
Okay.
and that's the aim.
What about the next question was, I was asked about trash pickup down at the park. Now that we are doing lunches down there, we're having a significant amount more trash that's needing to be picked up. And like today, they were completely full, and we still have trash.
The city picks it up in the morning, every morning, don't they, Larry? I have seen him come up in the mornings.
Okay.
Yeah, every morning they used to come pick it up, but that's before you guys have,
Before we have lunch.
yeah, lunch, so
So I'm wondering if they're picking it up the following morning after.
they are. Because they're usually there, well, they're over there around 8 o'clock, I guess, because they're there when we play pickleball. A lot of times they come.
If they're
And
full
do
when
it,
you
so.
get there, and they get picked up, they should be.
It should be, yeah, because it's 8 o'clock usually when they pick them up.
Okay. So recruitment, Kelly, we'll have you talk to us next month, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I do have.
Do you
I
have
work-
something you want to talk?
I work
Go right
today.
ahead.
I'm on lunch. I'm on lunch break. I called Amanda Burton. She's from Warren County. She has a bunch of people that could do community service, and she's supposed to get back with me within 2 days. And I have a list from them who could do it. The community service hours.
I'd say that's coming out of the shoot and run. Thank you very much
Yep.
for that.
I'm already on it.
Good for you.
Jerry, on the community service, there was kind of an interesting thing that happened out with the baseball team. And we had some guys that were, was supposed to support my sons or something. They got themselves in trouble, what the guys do. And they had all these community outlets that happened here. And they were out there and Coach Driver had them out there. They were coming down to County, gladly working. And I think that Coach was able to get those out. He was able to do things like that. They were willing to make that drive down here to make that time. So if you want to talk about, I think there's a lot of opportunity there for community outlets to continue together.
Who do I contact? Looks
I
good.
don't know. I'm just telling you that.
Okay.
This just came through, my sons, and then when I was talking, it was like, oh, Joey, he got himself in trouble. He's got 300 hours that he's got to take care of.
We might talk to the prosecutor.
Yeah.
Even if they
Tip,
come.
is he
Well,
talking?
right, well, I don't know, but I think
Dan Asker,
Oh, yeah, I'll call
get a
him.
little higher in the system, you might be able to find yourself some lot of workers. I don't know.
I'll call Askren.
Fountain County Courthouse, there to get somebody, they probably contest.
Yeah.
Fountain County, I'm sure.
Yeah, actually.
I always call Dana Askren and ask him. Yeah, I got a contact for Warren and Fountain.
Yeah, we're going to go out to county, find those guys.
Appreciate all the input because certainly we are looking for busy hands. All right. Thank you, everyone, on that.
Did you skip the parks and trails?
Just I put about 10 or some parts.
Okay.
I think everything else I mentioned. Okay, new business, time for proposals. So the first proposal is to authorize Eli French to create an action plan for the boat dock, including how it be built, and to make application for funding for the floating boat dock project and all related expenses. I need a motion in a second, then we can discuss.
I'll make a motion.
So
I'll
Eli
second
to
it.
move, and, okay, Kelly to second. All right, got any pros or cons or any kind of conversation about this?
Are we leaving the Wabash Blueway out of that
No, we're not.
project now, or?
We're not. Wabash, the Blue Way is still a real active participant in the funding.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And I already kind of got a head start with them. So I
And
should
George had to speak about it too, because they said they were willing to.
we talked to Riga. Yeah, did we? We talked to Riga.
Riga is not.
Yeah, they're out of it.
That was.
Yeah, it was Mother's Blue Way that came and talked to us.
Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Passes. Okay, authorize seeking donors for the purchase of handicap access swing equipment and a pathway to 2 equipment pods in Ravine Park, 1 handicap toddler swing at Bowles, and 1 handicap toddler swing at the playground at the Raised Gardens. If we get a moving second, then we can discuss. So, okay, we got Casey for move.
I'll second.
And Eli to second. So, before Tony left, he said he would do things for us if he could find donors or he knew some people might be interested in this or that. And so, what I'd like to do is ask Tony to go ahead and follow up on some of what he knows in terms of looking for donors for specifically handicapped access. I did look into an outfit that helps with that, but it turns out they are for special needs, mentally handicapped individuals, not physically handicapped. So that grant wasn't going to go. So right now we're looking for local donors, and it looks like what we would have, if you can envision it, would be when you go under Ravine across the bridge, there'd be a little bit of pathway to that swing. And that's a 6 bays or 6 swings, 3 bays. And what could go in there would be a platform swing that's used for wheelchairs. And then could go in would be teen size, child size. And then the last 2 would be regular swings. Then if you go to the right, you see the 2 toddler swings. Pathway to those 2 toddler swings. One of those swings would be replaced with a toddler handicap swing. And then if you think up on the ridge there by the handicap, that'll be a toddler park. That whole thing is for little kids. And we would put 1 handicap access toddler swing there. And then if you go to Bowles, you'd have 1 toddler swing there. Now, and then if you go to Wabachi, you've got that kind of teacup swing that is accessible for handicap and able. So that would make all of our parks have some handicap access, with the most being at Ravine.
But we're not gonna remove any swings, we're just gonna add swings. Is that correct?
Well,
Am I
you would
understanding
be taking swings out and placing
that? Okay.
And so we're putting it on the framework that's already there.
on the frame.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. That makes sense.
There is the 1 swing that's at elementary school, and that's ours if we take it. The swing that's in McDonald's Park is actually not according to standards for safe parks. It's too close, and the swings go too much with kids going by. So we have to take that one out. But what we could do is put the one that's at the school over by the 2 new swings that were put in where the parents can stand there and swing with the kids. So it would be a next door neighbor to that. So I'm hoping to do that. I'm hoping that's going to still happen this fall, because we've got to get that 1 swing out of there. But that doesn't add any, but it does make it safer. Okay. So that's what's proposed. All in favor of us seeking donors signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. So that passes. The next is to determine the position of the storage shed on the parking lot at Ravine Park, whether we're going to set it on a north-south axis or an east-west axis. So I'd like to have someone propose to move and second this so we can discuss what we want to do.
I'll make a motion.
Casey, and second?
I'll second it.
Then, okay, there's Kelly. So if you envision the parking lot that the Lions Club is, Okay, and that's about 25, if I'm remembering, even more, a little more, maybe as much as 40 feet deep. Okay, so you could put the shed so that the end, north-south axis, the end would be sitting on the far right of that lot. That would take up one parking spot. And so you imagine you'd access it from the front. Okay, you all with me? All right. Alternatively, you could have east-west where you'd sit it sideways like that. Now you're going to have a whole lot more that people would see looking at that barn. Okay, the other one you have a low profile, the other one you have a long profile. But on the other hand, it doesn't take away any parking spaces because it's far enough back that it wouldn't hurt parking. So I didn't know what to do. And I don't know. There's 6 in one and half dozen of the other. Do you guys have any
You're
preference?
saying then that people would be parking up against it then?
Well, we'd have to put
If
some
you put it the other
blocks
direction?
so they couldn't park right up to it. But with that much depth, that's not going to be a problem because the shed's 10, and then you've got way more than one parking spot length in that. Any preferences? I thought we could put a mural on the side of it at some point if we wanted to, or something like that to make it look nice. But what? Anybody care?
I would vote not taking up any parking because that would be the best for me, I would think, right? Because I mean, sometimes it can get busy. Pickleball courts are right there.
Yeah, but I kind of like the north-south just for the looks of it, I guess. Yeah,
Can I make a
Sure.
suggestion?
Yes.
The only thing I would suggest is make sure that the entry to the shed is visible, clearly visible from the road.
Oh, good point.
And
Yeah.
and that way, as the police drive by there, they can see the doors and they're not hidden
it's another
to
good
where somebody could.
Okay, that would definitely, that'd be the north side,
North-south,
north-south axis then. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, just for the security, if nothing else.
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
You guys okay with all that then?
Yep, sounds
All
good.
right, so it's north-south access. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Passes. All right. The next proposal is to authorize a rehab of a large crack that's taking up most of the length of the big pavilion floor to remove the trip hazard. The estimate that came in was just under 4,000. That's one of the little projects we might be able to afford that I was talking about. I did pull in someone that to grind. Could they grind it and it'd be cheaper? They said you need to lift it up and then we'll grind. So that's first. That floor has to be lifted and evened out, and then there'll be areas that they could fill and grind. That'd be a different company. So we'd have to do that price later. What we're looking at in terms of, you look at the next 4 proposals here. There's the pavilion floor, there's the tree stumps, there's a Wabash overlook, and then there's a 2-foot wide path around the bases in the kickball field. You look at all of that together, you're talking 4, 5, 3, 8, 3, 8, 6, just under $9,000. And those would be several small projects that I think could come out of the budget. Anything bigger, we might want to look real hard at figures. So like the tennis court's going to be one of those. Okay, so back up. This would be to try and get rid of a trip hazard, and I think it's a good idea for us to do that. It's been there forever and nobody's died, but I'm doggone it, let's not court trouble. Let's see if we can't get that fixed.
Safety's first.
All right, that's my opinion. On the other hand, certainly everybody's opinion counts. So other comments, discussion. By the way, did we get
but no.
no motion? Do we have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion.
That's Casey. And a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, and that's Kelly. Okay, now conversation.
if we're gonna fix up the pavilion, which we are talking about doing, replacing some of those pillars and stuff
Those
too.
posts, yeah.
Yeah, so if we're gonna, I mean, we need to do it all, fix it all.
Well, I think, yep, in the same way with the bathroom renovations.
Yes. And it's
So,
another project, yeah.
It's just getting the vendors and it's being able to prioritize the prices. So, the bathroom renovations is an active, can we find somebody to do it project? I can't really figure out how to get somebody to fix the pillars. I just don't know yet. Maybe Eric will have some ideas. What Nancy's talking about is that there's some of the pillars around the big pavilion are rotting out and need to be reinforced or replaced. On the other hand, the engineer that said that your structure is sound. So we're not in a situation where we have to think about replacing the big pavilion, but just keeping it maintained. Okay, so that being said, any other comments? All right then, all those in favor of authorizing not to exceed $4,000 for that, to raise those floors, signify by saying aye.
No.
All those opposed, same sign. Passes. The next is to authorize $1,300 to remove as many tree stumps as can be done in one day, beginning with Central Ravine Park and working outward. So there's just a guy that does stump removal, and he said, that's what I'll do. I'll come and I'll just chew up stumps until the day's gone, and I'll charge you $1,300. And then he won't remove anything. That way he's just doing stumps. And Eric in maintenance said, we'll take care of cleaning up. So
That's awesome.
much appreciated that Eric is going to let us get more stumps out.
I do have one more. You were on the subject of the pavilion, and I think I might have mentioned this to some of you, but I noticed that the last Twilight Music series that there was a lot of extension cords being run and trouble with getting power down to vending the food out. And I've hired a local electrician to come down and run 220 amp circuits from the panel to the other end of the pavilion and put ground fault interrupter circuits there with outlets. So they'll be right there on those posts.
Super.
And available. I think that will streamline.
That's great.
the
Thank you.
process.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
And that's a long run.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We used to have that same problem.
It is, and they were trying to plug into light sockets.
Right.
It was a,
Well, it was actually just the cord or something. It was, I mean, they worked, but it was just the cord they were using or
You just
something.
have
It
to
was-
use
Yeah.
real heavy.
Heavy cords.
this is gonna take care of that problem. We'll have
Great.
outlets they're plugged into and they'll be
Thank
safe.
you.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate
that.
that. We really
Swank,
do.
and we're gonna fund it separately from the park budget, so you guys won't take a hit over that.
Thank you.
The electrician was real good to me,
Okay.
Jed.
Super. Thanks so much. Okay, so do we have them? Did we get? No, we didn't.
No, you
So
don't have anything.
we need a motion and a second so that we can discuss this further.
I'll make a motion.
Eli
I'll second.
and Casey. Okay. I think what basically we're trying to do is get rid of hazards because there's a lot of stumps that are sharp. And so we're wanting those are going to be for sure targeted. And then beyond that is just as much time as he has to take out as many. I would like your opinion. My opinion is there's one really large stump that's in good shape still. And it just kind of tells you how big trees get.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd sort of like to leave that one for a while. And any thoughts or otherwise?
The ones that I'm talking mainly about are the ones that are
Yeah.
rotting away or whatever, and they're getting really sharp and
Yeah.
kind of dangerous.
Do we have any at Wabachi?
They took them out.
I'm not aware.
I think they took the stumps out when they actually took the whole tree roots and everything out.
There
When
was one by
Clean that
the
out.
pavilion. That's the only that I.
There's one up there.
It's that tree that was by the pavilion when they took it down. That's still there.
That's right there. Something up there.
Well, I suppose it'll be a matter of efficiency if he's willing to move his equipment down there and it doesn't take him
Yeah, if he
an
could.
hour to do it,
Yeah.
then we lose 3 other stumps he could have done.
Yeah.
So I'll ask him about that and remind him
Washi
that there's that.
isn't rotted yet though.
No, it's
So
not.
it's still pretty solid. That would
Okay.
take a while to bring where, once a ravine part would take years long.
Okay. And he said there were some up by the toddler park. I didn't remember that. I was gonna look. He said he was kind of searching around. But we will start in ravine with the most dangerous, with all the sticky up ones. We'll leave the one big one, and we'll take a look up on the hill there too. And then Wabachi will be on the list if time permits. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, it passes. All right, the next is the proposal to authorize an amount not to exceed $3,000 to rehab the Wabash Overlook. Do we have a motion and a second?
I'll make a motion.
Eli, and a second? Me.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so Eli, tell us more about what your grandpa does.
Yeah. Okay, we'll pull it up real quick. So he was looking at so we're looking at just cleaning the wood, staining it, sealing and staining it, and then the capstone, the things on the top, the capstones as well, and just to replace all of that would fall in the 2,500 to 3,000 range.
Okay,
And then I looked into materials a little bit more, and it should be about that.
Okay.
So
now some of the bricks need maybe more facing. When I put them in, they're just bare bones in. They're not faced yet.
yeah, he said he could just do that on his own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So in the end, we'd have the thing looking sharper and we'd have everything reinforced. Okay. There's 3 capstones still there.
Yeah.
But 4 more to replace.
Mhm.
Okay. So all of that could be done. And what we're talking about is the overlook that's by C&D battery. A lot of people don't even know about. I didn't even know about it until somebody told us a couple of months ago. So,
Scott mentioned it, I think.
okay, so all those in favor of authorizing up to $3,000 to rehab the Wabash Overlook signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Passes. The next one is to authorize the installation of a 2-foot wide path between the bases and a pitcher's mark and a catcher's pit at the kickball field in Ravine Park. So right now, it would just sharpen it up a little bit, and the kids would have their assigned bases and all of that. So if we could have a motion and a second, then I can tell a little bit more and we can discuss.
I'll make a motion.
So Casey
I'll second it.
and Kelly. So I called, talked with Bobby Askren and asked him, how do we do this? And so he told me he'd be glad to help, and that they have some lime there at the baseball field that they could probably give us. And he has a lead on how to get a rental of a sod cutting machine, so we could cut out the path. And then the kids would have a permanent kickball field. So shouldn't, it's volunteer work. Hardly, I put in what, $300 there just cause, right?
And the kids play on that every day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a big hit.
Yeah, it's a big hit. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Passes. Okay, now the following may be combined. So look at everything on that page. And unless a member wishes to pull one out to discuss a specific proposal, all of these are things that we would be doing that was proposed to the Community Foundation and is fully funded by the Community Foundation. Okay, so this is essentially an authorization to tell all these vendors to get started. Okay, so take a look at that. If there's any of those that you want to talk about to greater detail, we'll pull that out as a specific motion. Otherwise, we can talk about any of those all as part of one motion. Okay,
Good.
do we have a a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Casey, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Kelly. Okay, couple points to raise. The concrete work, you'll notice here it's 4 sides of ADA compliant sidewalks, 2 pads for trash cans, 1 pad for memorial bench, that's the bench that Moss is donating, and then 20 by 24 pad for pavilion. Now that 20 by 24 is larger than the other small pavilions. Those are 18 by 20. But what I was thinking about, especially for when we have festivals there, it probably needs a little more of a footprint. So went with 20 by 24, which could, I think, for sure it could house 3 picnic tables and I think could house 4. It'd be a little close, but I think it could. So whereas those smaller ones, 2, 3 at max. So that's why I expanded the footprint a little bit. It's going to have the same construction as the large pavilion and as a pavilion at Bowles. So there won't be plywood faces on it, so we won't have to keep painting it. It'll be metal, and it'll be metal roof too, like the pavilion at Bowles and the pavilion, the big pavilion. So trying to move to lower maintenance by doing it that way. Okay. So the quote for the pavilion came in at a little less than what we originally thought. So we saved some on that. The quote for the concrete work, if we added the 4th sidewalk, comes in at 3,000 plus more than what we were figuring. So the pro and con of the 4 sides of ADA, what it was going to be was on a parking lot. There wasn't going to be a sidewalk. But I think what this allows someone to do is go all the way around the park if they're on a wheelchair or they're having trouble with their footing. And I think it's just a reasonable way to spend that money. What we would probably have to not get is 2 picnic tables and 2 trash cans. That would equal the difference in the cost. And right now, the Blue Way bought us 2 picnic tables. And they just called me one day and said, we're going to get some concrete tables. Do you want them? And so we do. And so we get them. And the 2 trash cans, those suckers are incredibly expensive. And so we'll just use what we've got. So that's what I'm proposing, to go to the 4, and that would up it to 24,000, but still stay in budget if we don't get those other 2 things we had thought we would get. Then 6,000 for the landscaping. That's right at what it was quoted, a little bit above for just in case. And then car stops for stalls at 600, 1,100 for paint, line stencils, parking signs, posts, miscellaneous supplies for the parking lot. What Eric said he'd be willing to do at some point, probably this fall yet, is to put in a handicap parking space on the level, on the other side of the parking, because right now, you can't use it for handicap. You'd be rolling all over the place. So put one there. So it'll save us a lot for him to be putting it in, and he was the one that put in the other parking lot. We didn't pay for that either. So what we'll be doing is fancying it up and put all the signs and that stuff. Okay, that's the explanation of how those funds would be used, and that would pretty well use it all. Any comments, concerns, questions?
Glad we finally got to this point.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, it truly is exciting. The vendors for the concrete work and for the pavilion are local vendors. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Passes. Oh, great. Can't wait to see that start happening. So we'll start seeing the concrete in late July. Now these following, next page, also may be combined unless a member wishes to discuss a specific proposal. These are a number of small items, and rather than taking one proposal at a time and stretch, take a look at that. And if there's anyone that you want to pull out and spend time on, specifically discussing, we will. Otherwise, we'll make this as one motion and then you can discuss any part of it you want. Okay?
And one of those copies, because you must have changed things, because I copied some what you did last time. Now this one. Yeah, your agenda.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't grab one of yours. You must have
There are
changed
just
some
a
of it
couple,
because it's
yeah.
not the same.
Made a couple of changes.
Yeah. Okay.
We adding. Oh, that's your
my notes.
notes.
That's my notes.
Okay, I'll go get one. And I'll mention again to everyone out here in the audience, these are a list of things we're thinking about. You, 2, 3, 3. I will. There you go.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah. The one change was, I found out what those mats were gonna cost, so that's added in there.
Okay.
And the other was upgrading to 24,000, well, maybe I did do that. Yeah, the 24,000 instead of 20.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm looking for a motion to combine all of these proposals and act as a group. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, that's Kelly. And,
I'll second.
okay. And second, Casey. Okay, as I mentioned before, I would consult with Eric Swank about the culverts. So this is allowing a board member to do that, and I'm willing to do that if you guys are okay with that. Okay, next is offering support for an extension of camping in the river to 7 from 3 days. If we as a group feel like that's a good use of the camping sites down there, the council would have to make up their mind about it. But we're just saying, yeah, it makes sense to us to go 7 days, especially, and we also like that there's a smartphone way to register and pay. So that's all something that the mayor's been looking into and wondered how we felt about it. Could we have a little discussion on that? How does the board members feel about that change?
I think the smartphone thing is great. I think that's wonderful.
I'd
That's like
be glad
convenient.
to explain
Yeah.
a little bit about that if you'd like.
Sure.
It's been an ongoing problem ever since we started the campsites down there with people not having access to the city clerk's office because it's only open 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. So if somebody comes in from out of town, they're out of luck. We had initially a lot of problems with people wanting to live there instead of camp there. And that's why the council at that time recommended a 3-day period. And I've had a lot of people, and they don't talk to me when they come in, but I overhear the conversations. They'll say, 3 days, really? That's all we can stay? So I think if someone wants to come to Attica and spend a week and go to our parks, do whatever in Attica, 3 days is not very long, and it's a blanket fee right now. I think it's $20 for the 3 days per our current ordinance. And I think the proposal that I sent you was make it 5 or 7 days and change it to like $10 a day rather than $20 for the 3 days, which isn't much of a jump, but it'll help cover some of our costs for down there. We're going to move to this payment system regardless of what's decided. That's already in the works through the clerk's office, and it gives them the ability to have people sign up from wherever before they come in here. They can look and see what's available. If they show up on the weekend, there's a QR code that they can scan with their phone, and it'll pull up the app and they'll see which sites are available at that time, and they can go ahead and pay if the site's available. If it's not, then they can't. The police department will have a copy of the software available to them, so they can't interact with it, but they can go in and look and see if somebody's paid, and if they haven't paid, so they'll know who has sites reserved and who doesn't. So that part of it's kind of already in the works. I think the change is from 3 days to 5 or 7 days, whatever's decided, and the change in cost, and that's where our current ordinance lies, and I think I put that on the agenda for the council to look at too on Monday.
Okay.
Now, how would you do the restroom, Larry? Would you keep it open or just?
If there's campers there currently, we're leaving it open. If there's no campers there, I've asked the girls to go ahead and lock it in the evening when they lock everything else.
So, but if a camper comes in after they're gone,
Yeah, it may be locked if they come in late and it's already locked, yeah. That's something we'll have to work out.
is there a key code that could be put on those if they have access for a camper?
We've talked about that, putting a key code on
Can
there
really do
similar to
that.
what we have out here on these doors.
Mhm.
The problem is that with the current technology, you can't change it remotely. Somebody physically has to go down and change the key code. You wouldn't want to just leave it the same code all the time. But theoretically, and I talked to the lady at the, it's called Park With Us, if you want to Google it, look it up on your computer. But they said they can send out the key code with the paid reservation.
Mhm.
So maybe it could be a static code, and if it becomes a problem, we'll just go change it periodically or something. But yeah, I think that is a good solution, maybe, to giving those folks access.
I mean, a lot of, I'll say, there's a KOA down at Crawfordsville, and they're not the only ones. If there's an hour of the night that people come in, they just ask them to put their payment in the mailbox. I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying that's how laid back some of these
Yeah.
places
Oh,
are.
yeah. And this place, I think it's 1% that they charge, it's not very much. And to pass that on to the person that's renting the spot. If you're getting a spot for $10 a night, I don't think that's probably too much to ask of anybody.
How many total sites are down there?
5 currently.
Okay, board members, any comments, support, questions, concerns? All right.
Definitely support it.
Yeah.
All right. Is
I
that a
support it.
unanimous support?
Yep.
Okay, unanimous support. The request from Rec Inc. to use the Wabachi Park for a fishing fundraiser on 9/26. Authorize the placement of a 36, okay. So the ravine bridge that Bubba completed was an extended process. And on the other hand, it is very well done. And I think it might be reasonable to allow him to have a 6x6 or a 3x12 little space on the riser of the bridge, just showing who built it. But I didn't want to go and say do that without telling you guys about that and see whether that's okay. Is there any objection to that?
No, I guess not for me.
Okay. Next is name the aspect of trails or parks as follows. The Wabachi Playground would now be named the Ward Memorial Playground. The trail running alongside the river would be called the Dry Days River Trail, because that's the only time you can use it is on dry days. The overlook near C&D would be called the Wabash Overlook, and the playground near the raised gardens would be called Toddler Park. So, just designations.
Have we thought about doing maybe some sort of contest or something on our Facebook for one of them? Just to maybe get the
Yeah.
community involved? I thought that would maybe be an interesting idea.
I like that.
Maybe for the overlook or just one of them.
Okay.
Because I thought the Overlook had a name.
I think it was called the Wabash Overlook, but I don't know that it was officially called that. Just kind of like people mentioned it. Or did you think there was another one?
I thought there was a name on that when I looked that up and had that No, I had that paragraph or two about it, and I thought there was a name on it, but I'll look it up again and see what I can find on it.
Well,
Because if it was already named by, was it Harold Long that was mayor then, I think?
Yeah, Harold was.
If it was, if it already had a name then, I don't know, we should rename it.
well, if you can find it, we'll just,
Okay.
let's
I'll see if I
put
can
that one on hold.
I had a paragraph on it somewhere, I'll look it up
Find
again.
a picture of it, by chance.
So-
There used to be a staircase on
Yeah.
one side of it, named
Twice.
that
Yeah,
tear
burned
down. Right.
Reason why I want
No,
to
they
get
burned
these
Somebody burned
formalized,
it.
the reason I want to get these formalized is that we're going to be turning in a request for signage. And so whatever that name is going to go on that sign.
Mhm.
So we could put there to say whatever it was formerly called. Is that okay with you guys? And Nancy, you just let me know.
Look
All right.
it up.
Well, how about maybe Toddler Park? Because Toddler Park won't be on any of those signs. We could have that name. You want to do it that way?
That'd be fun. I just think it'd be a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe get people to realize that there's, they have some say in it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. How about I'll put that
Toddler
in
Park
your
and-
basket to figure out how
Yeah.
you want to do that.
Top of Park
Right.
and Community Gardens.
So we're gonna cross out playground near the raised gardens, and then we'll leave that as something that becomes a fun thing to get named. All right, the whole constellation of trails from Arms Woods to the river would now be called the Robert Shepherd Trails. Currently, Arms Woods, Jackson Street Trail, and Ravine Park Trail are all called the Bob Shepherd, or Robert Shepherd Trails. What this now would be is we make reference to all the trails as the Robert Shepherd Trails. So these would be anything that leads down to the river too. Okay.
That's good.
Okay, the next is to authorize the creation, purchase, and placement of a placard similar to those on other Ravine Park bridges that notes that the bridge at Ravine was donated by Robert Shepherd. Okay, now there's two that I've seen. One is kind of like a standard, almost like road sign, and the other were brass plaques that the Rotary.
I didn't like the road sign though. I thought that,
Yeah, the brass plaque is a lot cooler.
yeah, I thought the road sign looked
I don't know what that's going to cost, but if everybody's okay with it, unless it's, we could put add to your not to exceed $100, $200. What do you think? What do you want to say is not to exceed?
200.
200?
I think it's 400.
Okay, so not to exceed 200. That we'll modify the minutes for that, and it'll be the brass plaque. Okay, next, authorize signs to be created, purchased, and placed at Wabachi Playground to acknowledge the funding sources that contribute to this project and to designate it as a Ward Memorial Playground. So there's probably a couple of signs that'll go there. One will be showing the combination of the city and Community Foundation, and the other will be naming it Ward Park. Okay. The next is to authorize, create, purchase, and place a Short Street half acre sign. It's not going to say Short Street half acre. It's going to say here, this foundation donated the money. We were supposed to do that a while ago,
Yes.
so let's get that done. Okay. The next is to create a trifold Attica Parks and Trails pamphlet and place it in the Welcome to Ravine sign box and online. So that kind of sounds like a communications thing.
I think Ellen already has it made.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice job, Ellen. Okay, let's get it going. The next would be to officially authorize Rec Inc. to use one box of the Welcome to Ravine Park sign to post their own trifold pamphlet, since they're doing an awful lot to help promote the use of the parks. The next, to create a volunteer section for our web presence, including a thank you list for volunteers, donors, and grants, and a sign-up sheet for work sessions. The next, to reach out to programs who have people who are needing community service hours to establish contact persons and commitments. This is all us saying, all of these things are saying that the board is in agreement, we should move this way. Okay. And the next is to submit signage requests to connect the trails all the way to the river and highlight river attractions to the Blue Way for funding. Okay, all of those things. Is there anything there that anybody has any questions or concerns and want to talk about further before we go ahead and vote? All good? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We're good with that. Now, is there anything more?
I was looked at the new bridge, that crosses. I was a little concerned about the approach, the way I thought maybe we just needed a little bit of gravel there or something.
Which
At the end
side?
of it.
The one Bubba
on both
just
ends.
made?
Yeah,
Which end?
because it's just muddy looking to me.
Oh,
And I wondered if we could put just a little bit of gravel there, what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
mhm.
I'm thinking, when it gets real crappy and muddy, we're just gonna have that mud on the bridge for one
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But also, I wonder if it's gonna create a hole there even.
Yeah.
At the end, if we don't have something
Okay,
at the approach.
okay.
Is
Either,
that something we could-
we can bring that up to Bubba and
That's
see if he
maybe
can throw
we can
some
do
stuff on there. And, because he did initiate with me, he said, Jerry, if you need some fine tuning, tell me, I'll come.
Okay.
So we'll talk about the sanding and about the gravel.
Okay.
Sound good? Anything else? Nope. All right. Then if we're all done, could I have a motion to adjourn? That's Casey. And a
I'll second it.
And that's Kelly. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourned at 7:42. Okay, thanks, you guys. I don't know.
And it's the same person.
I don't know why that gibberish.
Not really. I think so.